welcome to Mind Your Business, a channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. What is going on with this reunion? I feel like everyone just piled on to Latrice. Like, let's really get into this. And before I even get into that, the outfits. What in the backside was Leticia wearing? What really was going on there? And her hair too. Like, no. And why is everybody's dresses hitch up to them crutches, sir? I was like, so hold on. Everyone's got hitch up dresses to their crutches. Some of them can't even fit too good in their dresses. And then when you're sitting down, I'm thinking, Lord, please don't be flashing me around here. I don't want to see you underneath. What's going on? The only one who was decently dressed and sat there appropriately was really like, it was Latrice, Tambra, and So Gucci, I think. Not even So Gucci, I think, had her legs open at a certain point. So I was like, what happened to these women then? What, go on? But, I mean, they're all beautiful women, but I'm just like, no, sort it out. Well, let's talk Man Crazy's Crew. Let's talk about the Belle Collective reunion, part 1. Now, I just thought, actually, it just felt like a Latrice pylon. I just think we just start with that. It was like Latrice versus Leticia, Latrice versus So Gucci. Then you've got others popping in, like Aisha and, of course, Marie, Bad Vibes Marie, of course. So I was like, what the hell is going on? Yes, we know that Latrice can be shady, but I don't feel like she's just unnecessarily shady. I feel like she shades those who come for her. And I do feel like it comes across like it's, you know, a bit of hate. There's a bit of hate towards her. I will say that it does annoy me when Latrice says that everyone's jealous of her, and her marriage in particular, because I'm like, I don't think anyone's really jealous of Cliff like that. But I can see where some of the ladies might be jealous of her business and the fact that she's young and she's successful when she's doing her thing. But yeah, it's a hot bloody mess. But let's start off with the first bit. So you've got Latrice versus Leticia. Now, this one is interesting because don't forget, you know, those two are quite close. So it's a shame to see that, to me, Leticia has definitely defected and she is now Team Marie. Obviously, Leticia's always been cool with Marie, but I feel like Marie has got her bad vibes and rubbed it off on Leticia, and now she is on that team. Like, she's anti-Latrice, which is disappointing. Because, like I said before in previous videos, I don't think the 9 to 5 comment was that big a deal, apart from the cursing. I don't think it was that big a deal, so I feel like they made it more of a bigger deal than it needed to be. And then obviously that's one of the main reasons they fell out over the feedback that she kind of gave her. And then they got back on kind of okay-ish, right? But when I saw Leticia going at her, I was like, there is some anger here, and it's like ferocious. Like the way she's going at Latrice, I was like, this is crazy. And you can see Latrice is kind of smiling a little bit here and there, because I feel like Latrice is a bit awkward when it comes to confrontation. She will throw shade, but it feels like she doesn't necessarily like it. But, you know, she dealt with it well, as far as I'm concerned, particularly because she couldn't even get a word out. Like, they kept cutting her. Like, she wouldn't let her finish her point that she's trying to make. It was really bad. And Leticia, I don't know where she gets off, you know, with her goldfish memory, talking about, you know, she's at peace. I'm like, are you the same woman who last season had your husband on the reunion doing a paternity test because he potentially had an outside baby, and luckily it came back that he didn't, but he cheated on you, is the point I'm trying to make. Are you the same woman that your friend Bad Vibes Marie had to go and co-sign a place for you to stay because you wanted to get away from your man and he still popped up on you like some stalker? Are you the same woman that was in the car park crying about him popping up on you and Marie again when you're out because the man's got your phone tapped and he just follows you when you're going? Is this the same person? This is the same person that's talking about you're at peace? Really? Okay, honey. Okay, if that's what peace looks like, you can keep that kind of peace to yourself, because that's ridiculous. But don't get me wrong. I don't think Latrice's marriage is necessarily perfect. No one's marriage is probably perfect, but no, you don't get to throw about you're at peace and you're calling her jealous. Jealous of what? She has a successful business. She might have things going on in her marriage. We don't really know. We've seen little bits which definitely have caused me to raise an eyebrow, but we'll touch on that in a minute when we talk about what Aisha had to say. But what really annoyed me was that Leticia had the cheek to like really go in on Latrice and talking about she would sell her soul for her image and that she would demolish her with the truth. I'm like, this is your so-called big sister who apparently has your back and you guys were cool and this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. If this is the kind of big sister that you are, you can keep it. You can keep that shit to yourself, because it's really disappointing. Really disappointing. To me, she came across as very jealous, very pressed. And she looked like a bully. It just seems like people were just trying to bully Latrice on the show today. It was mad, absolutely mad watching that. But yeah, I didn't like the talking over her when she tried to talk. I felt like that was very tactical, because then she can't get out what she's trying to say, which might be a good point that she's trying to make, because you're shouting over her. Just because you're shouting the loudest doesn't mean that you're the truth. You're telling the truth. Anyway, next one. So Latrice versus So Gucci now. So again, we talk about this whole real estate situation. And once Latrice broke it down even more, I'm like, So Gucci, you have no leg to stand on here. Let's go back here. So hold on. Latrice mentions she actually found the property that she wanted to purchase, right? She found it for you, not you, as in the realtor. She found it and sent it to you. All you had to do is get paperwork together. What do you mean? She sent it to you in February and she hasn't heard from you on that particular subject since then. So of course you're going to think that you don't care, because you haven't followed through. How is it that she closed in November but was sent you the information in February? Like, what the hell are you doing over there? I can see that with perspective, which is, it would have been nice to at least let So Gucci know that you've kind of, moved on with a new realtor. But in Latrice's defense, it sounded like she didn't feel like So Gucci cared anyway. And if I had engaged you about a property, sent it to you in February, and as we're talking through the months, you've not once mentioned it, I'll be thinking it's not important to you either, because why haven't you mentioned it? Business is business, friendship is friendship. But clearly, for So Gucci, the business and the friendship was very much wrapped up, which is why she's still in her feelings. She shouldn't be in her feelings. She didn't get paperwork signed to say that she was representing Latrice. So that's where she messed up in the first place. But it also messed up because the woman found her own damn property, sent it to you and said to you, sort out the paperwork. So you would have just got an easy commission and you still dropped the ball. So I think that's yourself. You have yourself to blame on that. I don't understand why people are thinking Latrice owes her an apology in that situation. I was like, because if I found it myself and you've gone quiet, we're talking cool like friends, but you're not mentioning anything to do with work or any update on what's going on, then I'm going to think, well, clearly you're not really bothered about it, innit? Like, what's going on here? So yeah, I feel like, So you should take that on the chin and has, get business done properly, make sure you get people to sign situations and follow through on your work, because how is someone sending you property and you still don't manage to close on it? What are you doing? Now, playing angel's advocate here, Cohen, I deal with no devil on yes, so I can see, like I said, that So Gucci finding out about it on social media isn't necessarily great. She could have just shot her a text and said, you know what, I've moved forward with that property, by the way. You're too damn slow. I can see that argument. As a friend, I can see that argument, but I don't feel like this whole hate train towards Latrice should be going on because of that instance. I really don't, because I don't feel like So Gucci was doing her job properly. She wasn't on job. Now, what I thought was interesting was when Carlos asked, he said, do you want to apologise? And she said, nope, she didn't feel like she needed to do that. Like I said, the way she found out could have been handled a little bit better if you're friends, but I feel like So Gucci did drop the ball on that a bit. So I feel like if Latrice wanted to keep that friendship going, she could have easily said something like, you know what, I could have probably texted you to tell you that, but honestly, I thought that you just weren't even bothered anymore, and that would have been done. Okay. I think that could have been wrapped up a bit easier than that. But what I thought was interesting, though, was when Carlos asks Latrice about, her saying that she's the number one realtor and blah, blah, blah. And she admits that she was actually lying. But she made me laugh because she lies to build up her people, whereas the others would lie to tear her down, to tear them down. I was like, Latrice is funny. She's hilarious to me. Anyway, I thought it was interesting because Aisha felt the need to kind of pop in and say something about, well, So Gucci's doing really well and how she sold properties, because I think Latrice was saying how, some of her friends who were in, real estate and brokers and stuff were saying how you calling her a top realtor and she's only sold like 5 properties at that time. So, of course, Aisha comes to her defense and say, no, she's doing very good. I've seen some of the stuff that she's doing. And then, of course, So Gucci talks about how she's at 2 million, now. So she's obviously doing well. But I was thinking, well, you didn't say how many properties you sold, but you're doing good. So that's good. So maybe we should see more of that. How come we don't see that? Where's these houses that she sold? Why are we not seeing that on the show? I think that's a bit weird. You don't see anything with So Gucci in any particular storyline apart from this whole Selena thing. So what the hell are you doing? It doesn't look like you're doing anything. So maybe show some of that, because other than that, you're just being shown doing the fitness stuff with Aisha. So I don't get it. Now, Aisha, I thought was interesting because I felt like because she's friends with So Gucci now, because obviously those two were like the most recent to join the cast, I feel like they've bonded over that. But I'm like, Aisha, I feel like she's chosen the wrong team. I feel like she's chosen the wrong team. And because So Gucci is cool with Marie and Leticia, Aisha is trying to like maybe get in with that. I feel like she kind of standing on her own, because obviously when she came in, she was very much, pushing back on all the shade that she was getting. But I'm like, no, Aisha, I wanted you to join Tambra and Latrice's side. That's where I wanted you to be, okay? That's why they put you in that chair. That's where you're supposed to be. But instead, you're just trying to defend So Gucci all the time. I didn't hear So Gucci pop up at any point in time to defend you around this Ferris Street project talk. Nothing at all. So that annoyed me a little bit. Now, what I thought was an interesting comment was when Aisha basically said to Latrice that, you know, she feels like she sees a lot of hurt in her and that she projects it. And, you know, saying that, you know, she feels like some of the things that she says is childish, like, you know, accusing people of being jealous and all that kind of stuff. But I felt like Carlos moved on quite quickly from that. But I somewhat agree with some parts of what Aisha was trying to say. I think the timing was wrong because I felt like it came across shady. And I don't necessarily feel like whilst I feel like she was shading her throughout here and there, I do feel like she was trying to be honest about that particular part. Because there is something going on behind the scenes with Latrice, which I feel like, you know, it's with her husband potentially, but allegedly, we don't know. But based on that clip that they showed of them in the car park when he was getting very, like, aggressive with her and her friend, there's something there. I remember when Aisha and Latrice went and done the art situation that they done, and they kind of had a little bonding session. You can see where Aisha was trying to get her to open up. But based on how these women treat her and how they kind of come for her, I'm not surprised Latrice doesn't feel comfortable to open up to some of them. But I do feel like Aisha is somewhat in the mark where she's trying to get into that, you know, there's something going on behind the scenes. But if you're not necessarily given a good space for her to feel open to talk, then I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. It does seem like all these women just keep coming against her. Don't get me wrong, I like Aisha, but I didn't like the fact that she was shading Latrice. I didn't like it. Like I said, I feel like she's on the wrong team. Now, Aisha and Leticia, this whole Ferris Street project situation, I think it was good that Aisha cleared it up and basically let it be known that, you know, the shit was really started from her perspective. And it wasn't the same, it wasn't like the same exact situation going on. She already had her stuff going on and they met through the project itself. Who knows what the future holds for the two of them, because it seems like maybe, you know, now that they're not beefing anymore, they might come together. But I don't know. If I was Aisha, I'd keep an eye on all them heifers, because I don't feel like they are necessarily, you know, for her like that, because they were happy to make sure she was not included in that group chat. And I still feel like, you know, Marie and Leticia were behind that, as much as they keep trying to project. I feel like they were definitely behind that, and particularly because Leticia was already in her vex mad stage against Aisha. Now, this Capitol visit, we all know this is a bee in Marie's bonnet, because, you know, she feels like Tambra did it to her on purpose. Well, you know, Tambra's cousin cracked me up, because yes, she helped to exclude Marie and Leticia from her baby reveal, as we know, which I thought was really bad mind that Marie would sit there and talk about, I wouldn't want to go to it anyway. I just thought, you're such a bad mind heifer. Like, what is wrong with you? You're just wicked. You're a bad mind. You're a bad mind. Tambra is basically saying she didn't exclude her. You know, she just didn't reach out to Marie, but she wouldn't, because Marie went and reached out to her ex and got up in her business and was doing the most. So I don't really blame her, because I wouldn't be reaching out to you either. And she let Carlos know that she had raised her number. Marie, with her petty self, is coming back with her, oh, well, I never had hers. I'm just like, you're chatting rubbish. You're chatting absolute shit. And you just sound bad vibes and bad mind, as usual. It's all bad mind. It's all bad mind. It's all bad mind. Anyway, Leticia then airs out that actually, you know, the person who they met when they got to the Capitol was Tambra's cousin. So I thought that was interesting. I thought, well, maybe Tambra's cousin has been paying attention and she knows that Marie is bad vibes, which is why she didn't want her on the list. I did say in my last video, I do believe that the entire collective should have been invited. But if I was Tambra, I wouldn't have reached out to her either. And Leticia, she was happy to go along to Capitol. Why didn't she say to her friends, come along with me to Capitol? Why didn't she do that if she's so pressed and so bothered about it? I just don't get that. Anyway, so because they're saying the cousin's involved, obviously they're trying to make it seem like it's a Tambra doing. But Tambra doesn't work at the Capitol. Tambra could chat to her cousin and let her know whatever the case is. But either way, wasn't it Marie that was just saying that she ain't bothered by it anyway, because as far as she's concerned, it was some sort of school visit with packed lunch. So why are we still talking about this damn situation? But yeah, Tambra made me laugh talking about she assumed Leticia would invite her. Well, yeah, maybe, but not if Leticia got a second text saying that she wasn't invited, then maybe not. But if Leticia is so pressed about her friend not being included, maybe she should have sat this one out and been like, well, if she ain't going, I'm not going, and made a scene in that sense, but she didn't. But anyway, towards the ending, it all kicks off. And it all kicks off because Latrice is basically saying Leticia is just doing a lot of lying and definitely was shouting over her, like I said before. So clearly Latrice found it hard to get any words out. I felt a bit bad for Latrice because I feel like they were all just coming at her neck, but she done her best to keep herself going and she did hit back. But yeah, you've got Leticia going off, calling her an insecure bitch. I'm like, wow, this is supposed to be your friend. You was over here chatting about, Latrice is my little sister. Now you're calling her an insecure bitch, which is absolutely ridiculous. So of course, Latrice is hitting back, calling her insecure, blah, blah, blah. Then she's going about, well, no, I don't want your husband. I don't want Cliff. What have I got to be insecure about? Marie's trying to pull her away. Of course, Marie can't wait to inject herself because she's happy now that Leticia is now on her side on the hate train to hate on Latrice. So she's like, yeah, come on, don't worry about it. She ain't worth it. She's just childish. And then, of course, Latrice hits back and calls her childish. And that one word somehow triggered Marie to want to fight this girl. I'm like, you're a grown-ass woman out here looking like some stupid hooligan. Like, she's a little ragamuffin. I don't know what's wrong with her. How are you CEO of a big company and or co-CEO, whatever the hell you are of your company, right? You're a big so-called boss out here. You've got businesses that you're running and you're running around chatting about you want to fight people and you're about that life. What life is this? Because this definitely isn't the CEO life, honey. Don't know what kind of gutter, ragamuffin life you're upon, but I was just like, this is why you don't get invited to places, Marie. And more than likely, you probably will continue to be disinvited to places because you don't have no rotted behaviour. And then she throws even more shots and calls her husband maid. I was like, wow, the shade. And talking about prenups and stuff. So I'm like, what do you know that nobody else knows? Like, what is going on? But Marie is definitely bad vibes, definitely bitter, definitely sad. And I thought like her behaviour was highly embarrassing. But you want to fight someone because they called you childish. It wasn't even your argument at that point. It was Leticia's argument. Leticia stopped arguing with her because you took over. So I'm like, what rubbish? What kind of, what's the word? What kind of tag teaming are you guys doing? Like, it was just a hot mess. I felt like Latrice did hold her own. I feel like at times it looked like she was a bit uncomfortable. And I feel like, or she was smiling and whatever, because I felt like she was uncomfortable and it was a bit awkward. But I felt like she still pushed back. You can tell that no one really has her back on that show as much. I hope that, her and Tambra continue to kind of build a friendship. I can see Tambra not necessarily wanting to say nothing because she's Miss Radio Girl and she doesn't really want to mess with her rep. That's what from her. That's what I get from her. But Marie and Leticia are going to be the tag team bullies, it seems. And Aisha and Soguchi are like backups, and I don't like it. I'm like, Aisha, I actually like Aisha. I like her in the show. I like the way she dealt with the whole Leticia thing around Ferry Street. But I just don't like the fact that she kind of feels like she was kind of coming for Latrice. I don't understand what that was about. But what did you guys think of the show? What do you think? Do you think Tambra was just lying? Because I felt like Tambra knows that Marie wasn't invited. Probably her cousin definitely agreed and said not to invite her. But I don't blame her. I wouldn't even be bothered about her coming either. What do you think about Soguchi and her storyline? Because if she's making this $2 million and she's doing so well on property, why are we not seeing it? And do you think that the ladies are jealous of Latrice, or do you think Latrice is jealous of the ladies? I honestly feel like it's coming across like they're jealous of her. She looks great. She looked the best on that reunion show. She's confident. She has a growing business. The side of her that I find slightly concerning is definitely her situation with Cliff, because I feel like he's super controlling. But for Leticia to sit up here and act like she's better than anybody is quite hilarious to me, because your man is a damn hot mess. Yeah, he's been stalking you, he's been acting a fool the whole time, and you want to chat about you have peace. Anyway, people, well, next week is looking interesting. We'll catch up with part 2. It is a 3-part reunion, so I will be staying tuned. But what do you guys think? And let me know your thoughts below. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.